What we're going to do is show you how to change the clutch on a 99 Kawasaki zx7. This model is a 750p, and what we've done so far is we've drained the oil. We've taken out the reservoir, the coolant, just 2 screws here and here. Just take them out. You can kind of, if you're able to, and the bike is cold, you can kind of tuck that behind there. Otherwise, it'll touch the exhaust. But at this point, we've done that. We've drained the oil, and we're going to remove this cover. We're going to take out all the screws around this cover to get to the basket that holds the clutch and the springs and all that. So we will take those bolts out, and we'll get right back to you, and we'll show you how to proceed from there. Taking out all the bolts. What we've done too, you might want to do this, is just keep them in order, because some of them are longer. So the order they came out, we just kind of put them in this little piece of foam. You can use cardboard or paper or whatever. So taking them out, there is a gasket in between here. We want to make sure we get this off without cracking it. Once you get that free, there's a couple of dowel pins in there. So our gasket came out in one piece, which is good. Everything seems to be pretty good. There's no chunks of metal or anything like that in there. But I'm going to put this cover off to the side. Next thing we're going to do, we're going to take these springs out. And we're going to take these this plate off and get to all the plates that are behind it, the friction discs and the metal plates. So once we loosen up these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 springs, we're going to come back to you and we'll go from there. Okay, so here we are again, back. We've got all the springs, all the bolts that hold the springs off, so I'm going to pull this plate off. I'm just going to put it straight down here in the rag. Now as you pull these friction discs out, what's happening here. It's pretty thin on the inside, but you got one friction disc, steel plate, another friction disc, steel plate, and it's going to keep going in that sequence. So I'm just going to put them here and pull them out. One more in there. Okay, let me count how many we have here first. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and there's one more in there, the 8th one that we're going to get out. And then we have the new clutch. It's been soaking overnight in the oil, so the fiber disc can soak up the oil. When you put it back in, it's not going to wear as fast, but you'll see they're stacked. Plate, friction disc, plate, they're all in between. So we're going to clean these up, we're going to look at them, we're going to inspect them, and then we'll get back to you when we put the new ones in, and then we can button this up, and that's how easy it is to do your clutch. Now we have the new friction discs that have been soaking, and we have the metal plates as well. We've already stacked them in. So you start with your friction disc all the way in first, and then a plate, and then a friction disc and a plate, a friction disc and a plate, and you keep building it out. I'm going to put the last 2 in right now. Metal plates going in, line up all the teeth, and then your new friction discs go in, of course, just like that. Now they're all stacked, they alternate, and as long as you got the right size, that's pretty much all there is to it. We're going to put this cover back on, put the springs back on, and then they're going to put the pressure on the clutch, and we're going to get our gasket put back in here, all the way around, new gasket, and then tighten all the bolts down to torque spec, and put everything back together. And that's basically all there is to it. Fill it up with the proper amount of oil, and that's it. And we'll put that back on, we'll get the reservoir back on, and as we put the plastics, maybe we'll come back together with you and show you how to put your gasket on as well along the way. Alright, talk to you soon. Just put the springs on, figured it'd be helpful. You might want to see that. After the plate goes on, just center your spring up, put your bolt in. And before you get really crazy with the torque, make sure that plate is centered in and it's seating properly. It's not sagging to one side before you put all the torque on the screws. I'm going to go ahead now that I've centered it all. I'm just going to tighten these down, and we'll just do a cross pattern here. Once it's tightened in, that one's in, or in, choose to do that. If it's been the same for a while, clutch is 20 years old, age of your bike, you might want to consider changing the springs. It'd probably be a definite plus for you to do that. So we're putting the cover back on, put some RTV on it. We had to scrape the old gasket off. You're probably going to want to do the same thing. If you look in here, you see the new gaskets in place. We cut our own. You can buy your own if you want. We had the material, so it makes it pretty simple. There's some dowel pins that are going to line up. You see right here is a dowel pin, and there's another one up here. Another dowel pin, and that's going to line up on the holes on the cover. So I'm going to just go ahead and, well, yeah, it'd be nice if I had it the right way. Put that in on the dowel pins, just like that. Now I'm going to get a couple screws started. One, two, three, four. 1, 2, 3, 4. Some goes down here. Okay. So you're just going to have to go all the way around. You're going to torque them down to the torque spec. Make sure your drain plug is tight. Put everything back together the way you took it apart. If you have any wires that are held on by these little clips, just get them back in there. And then fill up your bike with the right amount of oil. We'll go ahead and we'll mount this back to where it needs to go. Put the plastics on and we're all done. So there you go. Hope you enjoyed that. Hope it helps you out.